Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It is Boomba right here on your Boom Radio NG. My name is Ola Dolupo, and I bid you a warm welcome to the bar today. Welcome. It's a brand new week, and we're going to be talking about quite a number of things today. Sadly, there are quite a number of things that happened in Lagos today. There was, I think, a car tumbled on Otedola Bridge again. There's a gas explosion that happened in Lagos State. There's a claim that someone is accusing Bobrisky of. We're going to be talking about that. Also, the federal government is set to begin continue work. Let me put it like that. Continue work. The work is continuing on the Lagos-Calabar Highway project. Oyo State seems to have lost quite a number of politicians over the weekend. Also, there are quite a number of other things that we're going to be talking about today. So sit back, relax, and enjoy as we will be taking you through a jolly ride today. My name is Ola Dolupo, and I bid you a warm welcome. But with me at the bar is Sola Rogers.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and not just Oyo State and all of that. The whole world is feeling the tariff wars.
Okay, so first things first, there's actually protest going around the country today.
Excuse me.
There is some take it back movement that I think the police had announced that should not happen, but it seems to still want to happen today. And there's talks of people in Abuja and Port Harcourt being tear gassed, and it's quite happened. I think it's happened in Oyo State as well, happened in Lagos State and all that. And I wanted to talk about it because I remember seeing I think it was the Lagos police PRO, talking about how April 7th is now supposed to be, I think, Police Day.
It's currently being celebrated in Abuja as we speak at the Eagle Square.
That's the same day, and that's the reason why they were asked to not have a protest this same day. However, people decided to defy it and still go ahead with it.
Yeah.
I know that protesting is people's rights and all that. Couldn't this protest be moved to another day, or did it have to be this day so that it would not be? Because if I'm correct, I'm not sure they're protesting against the police anyway. So,
not just the police. Their protest goes beyond the police.
That's what I'm saying. Like, is police even part of their protest? Are they protesting against police as well?
This particular protest, most of the placards I've seen is about the government. You know,
it could have been another day.
I've seen things like how telling them not to protest is totalitarian, and it's the government trying to shut them down, prevent them from having a voice, and for this reason they will protest. And of course, there's nothing anybody can do, and so it's beyond police brutality, the usual police brutality issues that we always get to talk about or analyze, as the case may be. It's beyond that.
So that's what I'm saying. So back again, is it this protest could have been any other day?
Yeah, but if
would we say that is a tenable excuse for the police to have that? Okay, can you use this day to honor us and just leave it?
Dolupo, the main organizer of the protest is Showore. Mm-hmm. Is a politician. Mm-hmm. He owns a broadcast. He owns a journalist platform.
Yeah.
So people call him a journalist too. He's an activist. And you see a Showore saying, "Oh, police said we should not protest today," and he would back down.
Okay.
The Showore that knows that's the exact day that he's going to go ahead with. In fact, it would give him more ginger. The beauty of it is that I saw like some aerial shot of the protesters in Lagos, and honestly, I'm not trying to belittle what they're doing. Mm-hmm. Like NSA started like this. Actually, they're not up to 30 people that I counted. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you could look up all the videos online and all of that. So plus or minus, let's even say there are 100 people that protested. Do you understand? The police did the right thing by allowing them, and escorting them. And they went all the way from Ikeja all the way to the assembly. You get. So you hear of talks of tear gas being fired in Abuja, because the ones in Abuja, I think they have been told to disperse or leave or something. Of course, they won't. And there was tear gas being fired, and also in Rivers. For me now, seeing how there's plenty tension in Rivers State, that'll be one of the places you are supposed to avoid.
Not have a protest there.
Yeah. But of course, I'm not one of the organizers. So, but I know that the organizers, they said
it's probably intentional.
It's going to be pan-Nigeria and everything. You notice that there are a lot of times when Sowore tries to instigate a protest and it never really works because people don't really get on it. It's the existing ones that he tries to flow with and escalate until last year, when he actually called for protest and the thing went very big because there was a lot of tension, and in the north majorly.
Yeah, apparently it looks like it's not is not working anymore.
Because if he really has that power, today it should be shut down.
Anyway, I hope that there are really not any more updates on that. What I mean by that is that at this point, everybody just finish protest and just go home.
Beyond all of this, though, I want to just lend my voice to the fact that the government should realize that it is the right of people to protest. Not everybody agrees with what you're doing. It's a different perspective. I have heard people speak vehemently about how until this government takes the price of everything back to the amount it was at when they came in, that there will be no peace of sorts, that they would continue to criticize them. You get. So whenever you see some form of progress based on the reforms, it is met with a lot of sarcasm and a lot of pushback and negative responses. That is that the amount when he became president. So a lot of people don't even care about the progress that people are talking about. Maybe the international observers and bodies and all of that saying, "Oh, Nigeria is making progress." They're saying you met petrol at X amount, take it back.
I think that personally, I think that a lot of people are not. We don't like to tell ourselves the truth, or would I say that we like to live in a bubble? And why I said so is because I heard a lot of people, and in fact, I saw someone's interview on a TV station. Was it yesterday or 2 days ago, where the person was going on about this TV station and how they're the ones that speak to government and speak to power and all that. And I'm like, okay, it's obvious that you don't know what you don't. And I think that a lot of people talk so much. There's a lot of sentiment involved in a lot of these things. And before, these things used to be like, are people blind? All those kind of things, yeah. But I've come to realize that it is, you can't change people's thoughts about things. I'm not saying that the government is all that and a bag of chips. I'm just saying that I don't think that you can change people's thoughts about things if they don't want to. I would take, for example, shout out to, I saw a video about a few days ago where a certain woman, I don't know where she's from in this part of the country, yeah, but she was going on about how people were hailing the core member that said Lagos is smelling and all that, but then posted a video of, I think in Anambra, where refuse has really literally covered the whole road.
Yeah.
And then she was going on about how nobody is talking about this. But it's Lagos that is your problem. Where in Lagos would you find this kind of thing?
So, again, let's be very honest with ourselves today. Yes, everybody's mad at the corporate that said Lagos is smelling. She's not the first person that said it. A lot of people have come online to say those things. But you've noticed that a lot of people supported her too.
Oh, yeah. Are there parts of Lagos that smell? Yes.
So, if I was part of the government, I would ask her.
Is it only Lagos that smells?
No. I would ask her, show me the parts of Lagos that you visited that was smelling. And I'll get to the root cause of it. Do you understand? For one, Olushosun, it stinks when you're driving past it.
It does. It actually does.
But I know that the government is in the process of shutting it down eventually. But yes, there's a stench in the air. I'm trying to be very honest here. Like, I don't like the way she said it, but the truth is the truth.
Yeah.
But while doing that, have you driven past Mushi, the Mushi market? Have you driven past that bus stop? I did 3 Sundays ago. Half of that road is covered in trash. Let's be honest with ourselves. Then you now get to the root cause. There's a market on the road. Why is there a market on the road? Who are the people generating this trash? Who are the people dumping this waste? What does the law say? Those things are punishable by law.
Yeah, they are.
How many people has Lagos State sent to the courts? Do you understand? If you tell me 50, that means you should have sent at least 5,000. If you tell me 5,000, I'll say that means you should have sent 50. You know, 50,000. Meaning that if you use the existing laws, Lagos will not smell again. The parts of Lagos that they claim smells, there are parts that smell. It's the truth. It hurts when it comes from someone that you think of it, but then you're now done. You also realize that it has been politicized. And that lady pointing out some parts of the eastern part of Nigeria that smells is also right. Those places smell. The same standards that I apply to Lagos.
That's my own.
I will apply to it. So this is where the hypocrisy creeps in.
That's it.
Like, that the bulk of you people who are saying it are actually the ones contributing to the stench.
To stench, yeah.
And where you come from,
it's worse. It's worse.
You know,
that's it. Like, let's be general with our conversations. Don't let's just cherry pick whatever it is that everybody.
That is the politicization that I'm referring to. That you come and say, look, the man that made that video that you're referring to was a man that made it before that lady reacted. He said he was taking his child to the hospital and he had to go and look for an entire new route because I saw the video. Very, very, very messed up. Trash had taken over, not just a side of the street.
No, the whole road.
The entire street was shut down because of trash. And we need to speak the truth to ourselves also. But let's not always politicize it. It becomes a tribal thing. It becomes something with political undertones. If we do not take care of our environment beyond what government does, it will smell. You know, your homes, how often are you cleaning up? How well are you disposing of your trash? Are you paying your PSPs? Are your PSPs performing optimally if they are not? You know, because Lagos has also agreed that they're going to rejig that system also and look at how to improve it. So the real problem is not that
are you paying your waste,
but what are you doing to reduce the so-called smell? Or are you a part of the problem? How many of you live in apartments and you're throwing things down into the compound?
Oh yeah, we see. I saw a video where another person was attacking. You know the video that VDM made where there was someone that was pooing on the side of the road. I saw another comedian of his saying that it was planned. I say, seriously?
That comedian would happen to be the same guy that has been trying to.
Yeah, I'm like
to be like VDM.
We're doing this. We're doing this now. Like, really? This is what we're doing.
Is that not the politicization of things that I'm talking
this
about?
This is what we're doing.
Do you know the funny thing that people don't realize? And I hope one day we'll grow to that point where I do not need to like this person.
Yeah.
But if this person is speaking the truth,
I don't think
we should be able to agree, you know, that thing that is bad is bad.
I don't think and that go back a lot of Nigerians, but I don't think a lot of Nigerian youth are that mentally mature. I don't think there's a lot of emotional intelligence. Everything is, once this person says something, you're attacking me, or you planned it, or this. And I think that until then, older generation will continue to take advantage and will continue to use these loopholes to take advantage of everybody. And anyway, we will see where all that drama is going to go to. But the protest, and I'm guessing that most of this protest should be shut down by 4 p.m., hopefully. So it's already past 3, so we'll see what is going to come out of it. Now, moving on from there, Lagos State, still staying with Lagos State, 15 persons happen to have been injured following a gas explosion at the Igomu area of Lagos State. Said if the fire was involved where a 25 kg gas cylinder in a mini shop consisting of 5 numbers of the same. There was gas leakage of mishandling of the product, and there was a nearby flame, and then everything went poof. And I think that I would say that I'm not sure a lot of people realize, or a lot of people are educated enough. I don't know if you saw it. I think that happened on Friday. I think on Friday or Saturday, about the grenade that went off. I think it was around Mushin, where someone was supposed to be. He didn't know that it was a grenade. However, what was the grenade doing with? It was very. What I was like, what? But do you understand? It still doesn't make sense. Which I feel that is the reason why a lot of people are not educated enough to know some things. I think that what the government can continue to do is educate people more on safety measures. We know that like things like gas is safer to some extent, but it's also could also be more dangerous if not handled properly. Some things should not be in an enclosed area. Some of these things, and even if they are they being kept properly? So I don't know, but at least thank God nobody passed on. I know the explosion that happened with the grenade, one person died. I think 3 others got injured for that on that one.
You know, it is until we decide to do the right thing on our own, and government also does its own part.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was speaking to someone many years ago, and I found it intriguing that you could not just open a barber shop in the US without a license.
Oh, a license, yeah. But everybody can just open just anything. Yes.
Do you understand? It's the same way.
You can't open a restaurant. You can't do nothing.
Yeah.
Without a proper.
Get some feedback. So it's the same way you can't open a restaurant without, proper licensing and inspection and periodic inspections.
Yeah. Yes, I agree.
You can't even drive a cab abroad without.
Yeah, there's proper.
So, what do you expect here?
And I think maybe this is where, now looking at just not educating people, I think this is where these technical schools would come in a lot. Because if you tell people, another thing is, if you tell people don't do this without getting this, then you have to provide proper schools that they would go to do you understand, to learn, to educate themselves on these things, on safety and all that. So I think the idea that we had watered down our technical schools, it really did not help situation in this matter. Because I think that's the only way, even if you mandate it, and take for example now, for you, at least for in some states, as I've seen maybe like in the Southwest, for you to open a pharmacy, I think you are compelled to also put your certificate, your pharmacy certificate there's a renewal every year for you to open a pharmacy. It should be the same way for you to open a barber salon. I should be able to see your certificate of, that you've worked or that you've learned. This is the school that you went to learn these things. If you want to open left to me, gas should not even be sold with those people with those stores.
So that's it. That's it. That's exactly what I'm saying. For instance, when you say prostitution is high in one place, do you know why? Do you know why it's high? 2 things. No law enforcement, because it's outlawed in most places. So if there's this high prevalence of prostitution and prostitutes, do you know why? There's a business.
No.
There are people patronizing.
Oh yeah.
Do you get? It's the same way you say, people are taking drugs in one particular area, that this area is notorious for drug sales and consumption. The reason why is very glaring, that people know that when they go there, it's a safe haven for them. They can get access to drugs and all of that. That shows you that there is a demand for it, Abi. But if you handle the demand side of things, that thing will die.
It will die, yeah.
Because if a prostitute stands on the road for 12 hours and there's no business for...
But how do you stop the demand of prostitution?
I'm saying that every time you arrest the prostitute, but the customer will go somewhere else.
Yeah.
So if you're going to arrest the customer and the prostitute. You cannot say that because, this guy that sells drugs is a bad guy. You arrest the drug guy.
No, the person using it
the person that is using too. So whatever gives you the power to arrest should give. That's what I'm saying with the gas sales also. That if someone opens a gas shop just next door to you, if you don't patronize him and you keep going to the proper plant to buy gas, what do you think will happen? The guy go find another business now. Because it's not going to have the safety standards.
Safety standards, yes.
Even the gas plants that have safety standards, you still hear about mishaps once in a while. There's one that you go to, not too far from Magodo there. Once you're driving in, they won't let you in until they put some things on your car. They cover the nozzle of your car. You're not allowed to use the phone. You can't make calls there. You can't park too close to their tanks. They have those rules in place. Now, if I'm doing that to buy gas, and the same gas I can buy from some guy that doesn't have, he probably doesn't even have a fire extinguisher there or something.
Yeah.
Do you get? So I'm saying that if we know that even government is not clamping down on them, if you do not patronize them, they will not thrive. If you do not patronize the anti-nurse that is now doing the job of a trained nurse, and they will tell you she's
the doctor.
She's doing the job of a doctor too. That's what happened to Mobad. At least the story is out there now.
Yeah.
But if you had gone the right way, it will be different. But we keep patronizing, we keep doing those things and expecting a different result.
It's such a very, very sad situation. Anyway, moving on from that. Sadly, before we leave Lagos, someone's car tumbled on Otedola Bridge. Actually, it was down inside the. I think, thankfully, the person did not die. She got injured, but I don't think that car was. It was. I think she skied off the bridge completely.
So I don't have the details, and I'm glad that the person survived. But there's something I noticed. It might be the reason. I don't want to judge anybody yet, but people tend to overspeed in that axis.
The road is very smooth.
People tend to overspeed, and at times, speed.
Okay, so sorry, we have a comment.
Okay.
Adebayo on the Grilled mic says, "Thanks, Boom Radio, as always, for addressing issues of critical importance to the nation." Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, sir.
We'll continue to do that.
Thank you very much. So overspeeding is an issue. Let's be honest with ourselves. We take everything for granted.
Yes.
Seat belts that will save your life.
Yeah, I think that
people find it hard.
Like you said, overspeeding, and over again, there are videos, there are pictures of. No, even if, because the truth is that there are times that accidents are inevitable, there are things that happen, but your speed also does a lot.
It does.
It does a lot. It is impact. It's physics. Basically, it depends on the amount of speed they're coming with that also determines the impact of whatever it is that is happening. So even if maybe because some things happen sometimes, you hear about a tire fly off on motion, or the brake is not working, or those things at times there's really nothing you can do about it. But your speed at that point in time could be the difference between life and death.
Yeah.
I have friends and cousins and even family members and all that who have been complaining bitterly about the speed limit on the 3rd Mainland Bridge. I'm like, I remember having a conversation with my brothers, and we're talking about it, and they were complaining, and I'm like, okay, what is the problem exactly? Like, why is it such a, why are we wailing so much? Like, why are we whining so much? Like, okay, you think that 80 is slow. Okay, I get it. But it has happened. Can we move on from this? Like, it went on for like over 30 minutes of whining and whining and whining. I'm like, okay.
You know, there's something that happens to people who think like this at times, and I hope they get a chance to go abroad and beat the speed limit.
Like, why are we whining
Dolupo,
so much?
For every road, the one in front of your house, there is a speed. The sign is there. You see it. So it's not even about the freeway that they are complaining about. For every type of road, there is a speed limit. Just beat it. I'm encouraging you to travel and beat speed limit. Then you will now know the reason. You see, this whining that they are doing is because government has been sleeping for decades.
Yeah.
If they had been used to it, like there was a time I saw some people write something last week, and I was laughing. That was the time that we grew up because of congestion in Lagos. Your plate number.
Yeah, I heard there used to be something like that.
When you could take your car out. Odd and even. It was odd and even that they used to say. Mm-hmm. So I remember that at some point, my dad would take this car and not this car. One was his official vehicle, one was his personal vehicle, because he couldn't. They had different. So people were actually deliberately going to go and get plate numbers.
So at that point, does that solve anything anymore?
It does. Do you know how many people park their cars? It does. People were carpooling. People were using tags. And then, those days, taxis, there was nothing. Drop was the end of taxi in Nigeria. When they started this drop concept. Taxis will pick you up from the front of your house. Because the taxi is going to go on a route. It knows that it's going through Adelabu to go off at the Addis Ababa to come out somewhere. So when you come outside, you would just wait a few minutes and there's a taxi picking you up.
So I don't know.
The transport system was good, and if you didn't want to go with a cab, you would walk to the bus stop and get a molue or a danfo. And they were not this bad then and all of that. But what I'm trying to say in essence is that if you didn't experience something, it sounds strange to you. But if they had continued then to enforce those traffic rules and this present generation had grown up with it, you won't be. It will be normal.
I get your point. But basically, why we are back and forth with this is that no matter what happens, and that's the honest truth, can we please reduce our speed? The speed does nothing for your life. Thank you very much. And talking about highways, the federal government is set to begin the Cross River section of the Lagos-Calabar Highway project April 14th.
Yeah, and April 15th, they would move to the next state, which is Akwa Ibom. So they're flagging off 2 sections of that road just
at the same
24
time.
hours between, just within
so
the 24
if they're doing
hours
this much now, I thought they said that road was going to take about 6, 7, 8 years.
It will, because of the terrain of certain parts of the road. You see, the Lagos part is even the easiest part, and it's still difficult because there are parts of it that is
I get your point that roads, places where there've never been roads before anyway.
The Sokoto Calabar Road, there is going to be collectively bridges to be built to cover over 3 kilometers of rivers. That means, do you know how many bridges they're going to build?
They're going to have.
So it's the terrain. This particular part that they want to start now, it's like someone saying that he built 10 kilometers of road in Bayelsa, and you're now comparing it to 10 kilometers of road in Abuja or 10 kilometers of road in Ibadan.
Yeah,
it's not the same.
Not the same.
The terrain, you to take more to build. In places where you would normally have road, it's bridge that they would have. Mm-hmm. That's why there are some parts of Nigeria today that are not connected to the main part of Nigeria because of the terrain.
Yeah.
So the Lagos-Calabar, this particular, I think it's B3 or something I called it, it's going to cost them more. It's going to take more efforts, more materials to put it in place.
Okay, now let's move on from that. Just wanted to put that out there. And then let's go to Oyo State, where over the weekend, interesting, there is now a new Alafin of Oyo. Fantastic. I think I saw videos and pictures. It was a fantastic event. The seat of the Alafin is not just about Oyo or Oyo State. Is really paramount to the southwestern part of Nigeria, and even Nigeria as a whole. We saw a lot of kings, as far as the Olu of Warri graced that occasion, which so we'll say that it was a fantastic occasion. Though I saw a lot of the Shango worshippers who are supposed to be the the custodians of the king and all that. I one thing that I laughed, because I remember when this person was announced as. However, I think I heard a professor when he was praying for the Oba, and his name is not Owade. I heard it's Owade. I'm like, oh, interesting.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
This position historically is Shango's position. That he is more or less Shango.
Yes.
You know?
So why I said I laughed was because I remember that there was a conversation about, because on social media it happened about how if this king was Christian or was Muslim, and these conversations have come up a lot, especially with a lot of first class kings, like in the Southwest. There's this conversation of, oh, this person is Muslim, this person is Christian, but I'm like, with the kind of traditionalism that is around these seats, I don't think your religion, whether Christian or Muslim, I think it's kind of like out the window at this point.
Indeed, people forget that the Yoruba culture is a religion too.
Yeah, it is.
People forget that at times it takes your brothers in the diaspora. When I say your brothers, I mean our brothers in Brazil, in Cuba, and other parts of the world, to make you realize it. When you see now Japanese people practicing Oduifa, and you look at its similarity to, science and all of that, it shows you the in-depthness of the deep culture and how diverse it is. So the custodians must be versed in it. You cannot say that you are the custodian of Shango's throne and you're a Christian or a Muslim. To be honest with yourself.
You understand? I saw it. I'm like, I don't know.
You can. It's okay. It was in the Ikpebi, which is like an enclosure of Shango's enclosure for 21 or how many days?
Or you hear it's something that happens a lot with I think this new Oni of Ife, and I'm like, and then you hear they're doing this particular festival that is this and that, and I'm like, this person is the one that he said is a Christian. Like, can we not deceive ourselves?
To be very honest with ourselves, maybe at some point in time we'll be honest enough to say, put your foreign religion aside and be a Yoruba religious leader, or keep your religion and just the
people that want to,
people who want to do Isheshe, do their Isheshe.
Exactly.
There should be no discrimination, because at the end of the day, it's between you and your God. Because you can say everything you want to say, but you don't know the person's relationship with God. So don't let anybody fool you. But that you want to balance it, go hard.
Anyway, also over the weekend there were quite a number of things. I think on Friday, a PDP chieftain who's actually a very prominent Yoruba politician as well, Yekini Adiojo, passed on Friday. And on Sunday, a former governor of Oyo State also passed on, Omololu Olunloyo. He too, at the age of 90, passed on. Funny enough, when I heard, I'm like, oh, this man is still alive. Oh, wow. Met him a couple of times, though.
Governor Sheyi Makinde.
I hope that your budget is
you need supplementary budget.
Supplementary.
Because these are state burials, more or less.
They are. All of them. They're both state burials.
I don't know how you do it. I really don't know how you do it. But whenever I see it, I'm like, wow. Because remember, about 3 years ago, it was one king after the other.
Not say 3 years ago. It's the one still happened last year.
I went back to 3 years because of the Alafin, because it started like that.
Oh, yeah.
Then
I think
there
was the Shaun.
I mean, I don't know.
Shout out to you, yeah.
But you're a strong man, and thank you for at least keeping the whole thing going. To the families who've lost their patriarchs, we commiserate with you. At least for them to be in our discussion shows that they're actually great men and they've done their own bit. It's now for us who are left behind to do better.
Okay,
and,
still.
I know you're still talking on your state and all the things that happened at the weekend. I hope you won't forget the Lishabi Day too that went down.
Yeah, that's Ogun State.
Yeah, so but still in Oyo State and everything. One aspect of that crowning that I liked was the presence of the kings. Most of the Yoruba kings that
a lot of them were
there.
actually there.
And again, there was Said Oshupa on the bandstand. Then Wasiu came through, and Wasiu joined them for a bit. And all. I just liked the old fanfare around it.
Okay, let's move on quickly. And I'm still talking about Oyo State. So another interesting thing that happened over the weekend was a video that surfaced of the Speaker of Oyo State House of Assembly. Apparently, I think some people are banding it around that he's going to be the successor to Seyi Makinde, the governor. And in my head, I'm like, is there not going to be an election? But anyway, so there's a video where I actually saw that video. Seemed like he was struggling to speak a bit of Yoruba. And I think these days, especially in the Southwest, it seems to be a thing now that everybody seems to be it seems to be a very touchy subject about who are the people that get elected and their wives are involved, who their parents are, and all that. And apparently the speaker seemed to be struggling a little bit with his Yoruba, and then a lot of people went off on social media that is this the person that wants to be governor, blah, blah, to the extent that he had to come out to make a statement saying that he understands Yoruba. However, his mom is actually from the southeast, and he's saying that anybody that lives in Ibadan actually knows that he explained the kind of exploits that his mom, not being a Yoruba woman, had done in Ibadan, the kind of his late mom had done, especially then with the kind of family that he comes from, and how his wife is also Yoruba, basically doing a lot of explanation. And I'm like, okay, we're getting to the point now where we're doing a lot of explaining, and then if you have hopes of joining a politics at this point, especially if you're from the Southwest, maybe it's time to rearrange the kind of people that you're liking. Because that's the way we are going now.
Our politics is becoming too tribalistic for me. And I get it. Some people don't want to hear what I'm saying. That I can't be Yoruba and be saying what I'm saying, but I will say it. It's my opinion and my view. I know that the last election brought out a lot of what they now call bigotry. And it's now it's a badge that is being proudly worn by a lot of people now. And if we're not careful, it's going to consume all of us. There has to be a place where you draw the line.
Yeah.
When Road Survivor was contesting, he spoke his mind. He said he doesn't think in Yoruba, and that rubbed people off the wrong way.
Oh yeah, a lot of people still rubbing.
A lot of people liked him because he got a lot of votes. He's
still rubbing people off.
But he also rubbed off people off when they said there was going to be Uru. He condemned it and all that. Mm-hmm. So people are like, they don't want Yoruba people. A lot of Yoruba people, not all, but a lot of people are saying we don't want people who are going to denigrate the culture, who will not uphold the culture and tradition of.
Then now everybody now remember his lineage.
So that's why they're now hitting him hard and say, oh, after all, his mom is not Yoruba, his wife is not Yoruba, so he's obviously going to be so. But I'm saying that. Does that affect the quality of his governance? Let's focus more on what we think it should be.
First lady is not Yoruba.
But as we're just saying that the governor of Ondo died. And his wife went off on a tangent.
Oh, yeah.
Until today, she's still like that, more or less. And then a lot of stories emerged of some of the things that was done to the detriment of the people of Ondo, and of course in advantage of our own people who are in the southeast. So when you look at all of these things, you start to wonder, like, are the people complaining completely off?
Yeah.
So that's why they came for Debo Ogundoyin, saying that the person he was standing next to in that picture that he posted was wearing a crown of sorts that said Eze of Yoruba, Eze Igbo of Yoruba land. There are already people contending that you cannot be a king.
Yeah, that was
in somebody else's land.
There was a case in I think Lagos State.
There's one that they are dragging
someone
there.
that the court had to basically sack them, like,
you know. So now they're saying it's not even just Ezendigbo of Aja or Ezendigbo of Lagos. Now this particular person is the king in Yoruba land, and that's why people came for Debo, because he said that they were inaugurating their Ohaneze Indigbo Southwest Oyo State chapter.
Mm-hmm.
You get? I don't see a problem with Ohaneze Indigbo having an Oyo chapter. Shebi it's to propagate their own cultures and amongst their people. I don't think there should be Egbeomo Dudua can be anywhere. Do you get?
Yeah.
But what I also don't endorse is you coming to say you have a king where there's a king.
I think that
I think that's going too far.
I think the Speaker of Oyo State did not he didn't, what we'll say, he did not read the room. I think it was unnecessary. If this happened 5-6 years ago, probably will not even look at it as. But somebody that is a politician, however, obviously has a political career that doesn't want to just end where it is. I think that at this point, you need to be very, very, very careful of the things that
you endorse.
A few months ago, rather just be quiet.
A few months ago, in the same Oyo State, there was this brilliant politician that was putting out some information, and people said that, oh, he might even be the successor to Governor Makinde. Guess what?
When they saw
that his wife was and his children were not even bearing
game over.
See the way they
and like I said, I think that something that you said now, that maybe we need to look at it on both sides. So I saw a video earlier today where there's some southeastern people who live in South Africa conducted an election, said that there is a governor in that they came up with a state in South Africa. Keep in mind, in South Africa. And then say that this person is automatically the governor in Imo State. So I'm guessing the Imo governor is not in on their agenda, so they have to. And this is not speaking to everybody in the Southeast, but I feel that particular statement, you can't do that in another person's country and they will be okay with it.
You know there are laws against that.
It's wrong on all levels. Like, let's call a spade a spade. You cannot be like, who sits down and gives these people, like I said, I don't think that all Southeasterners are like that, but I think that even the people that are not like that need to also start coming out and start condemning this behavior. You can't just be quiet anymore. It doesn't make any sense. Next thing you will say that, there are a lot of xenophobic attacks against you in South Africa. Is this not enough to cause xenophobia? What are you doing?
There are laws against you creating your own state.
It's just wrong.
Especially
it's bad enough that
you
are doing Biafra country and Oduduwa country and all sorts of nonsense in Nigeria, where there's already that people are already dealing with. Then you now go to this is what I used to see. See, there's a limit, there's a level of the madness you can do. Pardon my French. In your own country, yeah? There's some leeway that they look at you that this one, just leave this one, eh? But then you now go to somebody else's country and be propagating madness.
Nah, you can't. You cannot do that because there are actually laws against it. And the sad part is that just the few of you who have done that would put people who are not involved in trouble. I just feel that, look, the best way to live is that if I maybe relocate to Port Harcourt now, or I relocate to Nobi or Nkpo or Agulu or anywhere, I should understand the cultures of the place and live in harmony. I should not try to say I'm now starting my own kingdom.
Are you kidding?
Where there is a king. It's not a great thing.
Let's be having sense. I'm sorry, but let's just be having sense.
I think we need to think about these things.
Anyway, going all the way to Kano, just wanted to put this out there. Over the weekend, the Inspector General of Police had asked for the Emir to report to Force Headquarters. Now, he has now withdrawn that invitation and said that, that there are officers that will go and see him in Kano. And you know why at times I feel those things are laughable is it that you didn't think it through?
Can I quickly ask you something?
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you maybe 2 or 3 questions now.
Okay.
I'll point out to 2 or 3 things. Why did the Inspector General of Police invite the Emir Sanusi?
Okay, so he was invited because during the Eid celebrations, I think one person died and they were investigating, which makes sense.
And was that not the same celebration that they said they should cancel? That the police said should not happen?
Did the police say they should not cancel? They should do. I know that the the other Emir had said that. I think yes. I think the police had said that they should cancel.
Okay, if we're not clear about that, didn't the same police say that Natasha Akpoti should not have a procession or a gathering?
Yes.
The same police said it,
Yes.
and it happened.
Yes.
She still went ahead,
Yes.
and nothing happened.
Apparently.
Didn't the same police say that there shouldn't be any protest today?
Okay, so where we get into this, that nobody answers the police.
That's it now. We have a police that's toothless. That's it. You guys don't want to hear it, but it is. So because there are 2 sets of laws now. Because there are some people who you would say, there should be no gathering. And they will gather and nothing happens. So why would the next person believe you? Why would the next person listen to you? Again, you come out to say you are inviting someone, then because everybody pushed back against it, you now said that they will go and meet the person. Why didn't you go and meet the person in the first place? If that was an option.
Yeah, if that was an option, exactly.
You know, so you can't have a policy maker or a law enforcer that is flip-flopping. You can't have that. You can't be saying one moment, yeah, this is how it's going to be. We don't want people to gather. The next moment, let them gather. Come on. You don't want, you invite someone for investigation, then maybe you shouldn't have gone for the emir directly. Maybe there are people who are directly involved with the organization that will not be too big or too, royal to listen or go meet the police. But there's something wrong somewhere, though. And
anyway,
they need to fix it.
Talking about people getting arrested and people going to prison. Interesting news have popped up again where there's someone called Bale of Kirikiri or Kirikiri Bale who has now accused socialite Bobrisky that he actually bought a VIP prison for himself. Said that he smuggled about 8 ATM cards and then also bought, I think for 35 million naira or something, a VIP treatment in prison. And what reminded me, I remember that there was supposed to be some sitting and people were supposed to look into it and they said there was nothing untoward. How come these allegations are not going anywhere?
You see it being reenacted in the movies. You hear those stories coming out from people who've been there and came out to tell you, there's this system that actually goes on. And there are people who actually are alive who have experienced it. Yeah. So what exactly is the story about? If the Minister of the Interior comes out after their so-called investigation says it's not happening, then good luck to him. Do you understand? Rather than follow the charade of an investigation, maybe he needs to actually go speak to the people who are talking about it. Yeah. This guy, Fij, Fishayo Shoyombo, didn't he go undercover into prisons? You still don't believe him? Mm-hmm. Didn't Akbar Jali go spend time in prison when he was wrongfully arrested for some crimes? At the end of the day, he's out there now. Are you not supposed to speak to those kind of people to find out what's going on and you fix it?
Yeah.
Then you start to wonder. Like, a former CBN governor was taken to court. Then there is a scrabble.
So who keeps him?
The prison, a guy of prison is there fighting physically.
What? Who are you?
Fighting that he has to take CBN governor with him, while the people who brought him originally, the DSS, it's DSS, yes. NDLEA.
Which I get the DSS angle. Like, okay,
what's the prison?
Why are you so involved, interested in?
They were not beating themselves up in public.
Anyway,
it looks like there was a big fish to be caught.
there's a big fish, money to be made. Allegedly, new.
Allegedly.
Anyway, there are quite a number of things that. Okay, so let's do a little bit of sports. First thing, another nonsense. I will call it nonsense that happened in Ibadan, and like anybody that has been following Nigerian Premier Football League, and I've said it a couple of times. I think that they're getting better. There are a lot of things that, but we see one or two things, and it seems to that it is beginning to mar this whole progress that they've made. If I'll say that one team that I say that I maybe want to support would probably be maybe 3SC.
God forbid. Up super.
I grew up
up flaming.
I grew up with my grandfather being like a die-hard fan of 3SC, that kind of thing. So I kind of like have like a bit of history with that
Please
team.
return our Stars jersey.
However, it's sad and embarrassing that 3SC decided to stoop so low to hold people hostage. Well, here where we talked about Libya and what Libya did to the Super Eagles, y'all did literally the same thing after there was a draw. What did you think? Holding them hostage, was it going to give you 3 points? Because I don't get it.
Have you been to any of those games?
I think one.
When was this?
This was years ago.
Like how many years ago?
I can't remember exactly.
There's a reason why I'm asking. I'm not putting you, on the blast.
Years
story.
ago, maybe over 10 years ago.
Okay, so there's a reason why I asked you. You see, I attended a 3SC versus my team from Akure, Sunshine Stars, in Ibadan. That was about 6-7 years ago. And something similar happened.
And I know why I get your point is because I for someone that lives in Ibadan, if there is a 3SC game and they normally play it at Adamasingba Stadium, that place is always no-go area. Don't bother.
So I attended this game, and at the end of the game, of course, the result didn't go the way of 3SC. It was the same scenario. So those of us who were there as journalists and all of that actually stayed on the pitch with some of the officials from Akure and some of the players, because they even to access the dressing room that Ikorodu United people made with, it was hard. So they stayed on the pitch, and there were other fans that stayed with us. So we were more or less like a human shield around them, because outside was hellish. Now, what Ikorodu people are angry about is that they spent about 1 hour. They should see it as some kind of saving grace.
Saving grace.
Because look, the way the stadium is designed, the part where you're coming from ideally should not be accessible by the fans, but it is. It is. So because your bus is parked there, so when you come out of the dressing room into your bus, there's like 300, 500 people waiting for you. How do you make it to the bus? Then when that same bus starts to drive out of the stadium, trust me, couldn't funny.
It's crazy. It's
so
crazy.
It's a sad one that this has happened, and I hope that there are repercussions for this,
because I think something like this still happened. Was it last week? And I can't remember where, but it was the MPFL too. Something like so. It can't continue. There has to be.
I hope that repercussions for it. I hope that, for instance, they would make them play still in Ibadan, but behind closed doors for 3 or 4 games. That I don't. There's a rule, there's a standing rule, but they can decide to expand it. What usually happens is that depending on the evidence available, the league management member can not just define. They can throw their game to Kwara. That all their own games, they will go and play it in a far place for like a month or thereabout, which will even cost them more money. So please, you need to also orientate your fans. You have one of the best set of fans. I'm not going to lie. When it comes to supportership of football clubs, Kano Pillars and 3SC, they have, I think, the best set of fans. And again, Enugu Rangers. Those 3 traditional clubs have the best set of fans, but you also need to talk to the ultras and find a way to
weed.
Yeah, people, because they will put you in trouble.
Yeah, I agree with you. And still talking football, Southampton has officially sacked the manager. I don't even know how.
It doesn't make any sense.
Why?
They're already relegated. Why sack him? What difference? What are they expecting now?
My own issue was, why did you sack him just now?
You should have sacked him like a month ago. You should
2
have
months
started
ago,
like 2
if
months
you
ago.
when you had a chance
After
to
his first 4-5 games, and he wasn't getting anything.
in about almost 20 games, they had only 6 points. At that point, he should have been sacked.
In total, they have only 10 points as we speak.
Yeah, and
they need to win at least 1 point to make sure that they don't have the worst record ever.
at the moment now, this is their record relegation for them to have been relegated at this point, and there's still this many games.
No,
to be
there's
played.
another record. I think Derby County or something have the record of the least points.
Points.
So what they need to do with the next 6 games or so, or 7 games that are left, is that they should at least try to play 1 draw if they cannot win 1 game, so that at least they are
there are teams that are going on relegation. They're not the only ones that are on relegation, that are going on relegation, but this is just embarrassing. It's definitely just embarrassing. Anyway, for people that pay YouTube Premium, actually, the price of YouTube Premium has now been increased to 54%. By 50%. In my head, I'm like,
Can I ask you a question though?
Yeah.
Have you met anybody that pays YouTube Premium?
However, I know one person that actually does.
Shout out to the one person.
I know one
Who is this
person that does. Oh Lord.
Who is the person?
Oh, my friend. I have a friend that pays that.
In Nigeria.
Oh yes. I'm like,
I
do? Oh
I,
wow.
I don't hate adverts on YouTube. Please,
I'm okay.
let the adverts play.
Okay.
If you don't play adverts, how can people make money? Please.
Anyway, the NDLEA has arrested India-bound brothers that had cocaine in Lagos. Also wanted to
Talk about keeping it in the family. You know?
And NNPCL is set to export their first crude cargo to Europe.
Shout out to NNPCL. Let it reflect in the cost of petrol. Meanwhile, quickly talking about crude and cargo. Do you guys notice that the price of oil is dipping?
Yes, it is.
Let it reflect, though.
It definitely is dipping. I wanted us to talk about the drama that is happening in the United States quickly before we go. Mr. Donald Trump's tariff policies seems to be affecting everybody. Saudi seems to have seen the stocks is dipping like crazy, and maybe I didn't want to talk about it here because I wanted to get someone that understands, or maybe an expert, to explain to me like I'm 5.
Let me just remember last week we were talking about how you're telling one island to pay tariff, an island that is populated by penguins and sea life. Now, he said reciprocity, Abi. The idea is that there's a trade deficit. Say, for instance, you are Nigeria, I am USA, and you are selling goods worth about $1 billion to us, while all the goods that we are selling to you are just 400 million. So there's a $600 million imbalance.
Yeah.
You are now putting, I'm now putting tariff on your 1 billion
which
naira worth
now
of,
increases the cost.
I'm putting tariff on your 1 billion exports to my country to balance things out. How does that balance things out? What that simply means is that I bring the things, you charge me more, I charge your people more, because when it gets there, your people will pay more for it. That means that the price of those things will go up. You know, so the things that I am buying from you, I can't buy more than what I'm buying because my people don't have the purchasing power. Your stuff is expensive. So that's why there's a trade imbalance. But a trade imbalance does not mean that your country is doing badly. It just means that there's a particular item, or there are some items that will do well in your market.
Yeah.
You get? So what you're saying, what he's trying to say also is that they're going to build factories and do a lot of those things in-house. Do you know how long it takes to build factories? Do you know how long it takes for you to source for the raw materials and everything? You know? And some of these items you don't even have in your country.
You don't have.
A clear-cut case is that of Lesotho. Lesotho sells diamonds to them. And what is the purchasing power of the people of Lesotho that you want them to do commiserate business? If they are exporting diamonds worth about $300 million, you want them to be able to buy items from America worth $300 million. How are they going to do it? So
anyway,
you cannot have reciprocity in markets, international market. It is not possible. What you can do is to negotiate, you know. But now by slamming tariffs on everybody, the only person that will bear the brunt are the consumers.
Maybe it's time that a lot of people need to look inward, and at the way that I think that what's going to happen is a lot of people are going to dump a lot of US products, would not buy, and then, you know, we deal with whatever it is that we have. Anyway, on that note, that is all we have to take today on the bar. Thank you for listening. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back again tomorrow at 3 p.m. West African time to give you another wonderful edition of the Boom Bar. Do have a beautiful, beautiful day ahead. Peace.